What's up? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks for being here, being subbed. If you're not, hit the button. And if you're listening on YouTube, hit that like. It's like walking in the room and hitting that light switch. Let's brighten up the place and get into this beautifully honest reaction.
Talk to me nice, talk to me honestly. Look in my eyes, don't let it fall on me. Say you're a good guy, make me believe it. Don't wanna hear it, I wanna see it. See how rewind, when we rewind, feel so.
What is up, guys? So listen, let's just go ahead and get into it because we know Derek Dixon, he recently filed a lawsuit. What has it been? It's been a few weeks now. And then recently another accuser that had been paid, I won't say under the table, but it wasn't anything that we knew about. He was violated by someone that is in the Tyler Perry world, Tyler Perry production, Tyler Perry studios. He was literally RAPED, Braxton Wells. And he had an NDA and, a payout of, I believe it was about $500,000. Some people feel like, oh, well, you got your money, shut up about it. If this man was a victim, I hate this, people wanting people to stop talking about something that they have went through when they were the ones that were violated. It's their story to tell. And if they want to talk about it, they should be able to. And none of us knew about this situation, but he was violated, and he's also a disabled veteran, which to me, it tugs at my heartstrings. But listen, not everybody's going to feel the same way. But in light of all of these things coming out, and a lot of people don't feel sorry for Christian Keys because they feel like he got a payout as well, but he came out putting all of these innuendos and accusations out there, but not putting a name on it, but also not just the fact that he was letting people know about things that happened to him, but he also was claiming that he was going down to the police station the next day. He had recordings and he had all of these devices and all of these things that he was going to turn into the authorities because he wanted justice in that way. Like, that was the way he was making it seem. And if he didn't do that, and then all of a sudden he comes out, or he's not coming out at all after that, and he's not saying anything, a lot of people feel like, oh, he got his check, he's good now. And a lot of people don't respect that because they felt like, oh, if he says that he's going to go and turn those things into the police, into the authorities for the criminal side, then go ahead and do that. And if you got money, then they don't have any respect for him. And some people feel the same way about Braxton Wells because they feel like, well, dude, if you got a payment, then what are you out here talking about? You must want more money. Well, with that situation, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's heavy and it's deep. If that person RAPED'd him, I do believe that they should serve prison time. That's just foul. That is criminal. That is disgusting. That is all of the things. So to just get money for being RAPED'd versus it being like a sexual harassment thing or whatever, I feel like that is another level that that person deserved to be prosecuted for. But anyway, in light of all of those things, Don Lemon recently was discussing Tyler Perry. He had an attorney on that he was talking about it with. I believe her name is Simone Redwine. Actually, I believe I'm subscribed to her YouTube channel. But anyway, because she was covering the Diddy trial, but I had subscribed to her before that. But with all that being said, we know Don Lemon is not in the closet. He's out. He is an out gay man. And most gay men know other gay men. Now, I'm not talking about T.S. Madison. I know I recently talked about T.S. and how T.S. came out to say pretty much all men like men. I don't agree with that. I don't like that. If all men like men, then all women like women, and everybody's just gay and fluid, and stop that. I don't subscribe to that thought. And I believe that that is something that is convenient for TS because he, she, whatever, literally said that they don't have sex with gay men. How so? When you have a ding-a-ling. But anyway, I digress. Let's get into what Don Lemon had to say because I really thought it was important. I was listening to it yesterday and I didn't get a chance to get around to doing anything yesterday, recording wise. So I want to touch on this and get into what he had to say because he pretty much called him out without calling him out and trying to do it with compassion too because he feels like Tyler Perry is a good dude. He's just got some trauma from his childhood and also his beliefs that is holding him in that proverbial closet. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this.
Okay,
Thank you.
let's go deeper, shall we?
Yeah, absolutely.
So Tyler Perry, let's go ahead. We played this. This is cryptic response, but pre-allegations. I guess maybe I'm assuming, considering the context of here, that he knew something was coming, and so he posted this online.
He got the whole world in his hands. Got the whole world in his hands. Hey, I'm just sitting here on my porch, just looking. What am I looking at? I'm looking to the hills from whence cometh my help. For my help, some of y'all know the rest. I just want to come on and just tell everybody, just be as calm as you can.
And that was it. Simone?
Don, that seems like that Arrested Development you were just talking about. It just really didn't seem appropriate for the heaviness of this civil lawsuit to either let your lawyers make a strong statement for you or zip it up. I just thought that seemed very tone deaf.
But we don't know if it was about because it was so cryptic, right?
That's true. But he knew that lawsuit had been filed. At that point that he made that post, it was very clear. It had been a few days actually since the lawsuit had been filed.
Okay, so since we're talking about that, now there have been reports about Tyler being, his sexuality. And this is something that ran back in the day. This was years ago. This was an Aaron Magruder series. It was Boondocks. And there's a character on there called Winston Jerome that was in, the vein a la Tyler Perry, an entertainment industry mogul, whatever, surrounded himself with beautiful men, blah, 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 blah. So this was back in the early 2000s, I believe, like 2005, 6 or whatever. Okay, I'm going to play it. It's a little bit long, but roll it.
Okay.
And I put this episode link on my community wall when that lawsuit was reported. So it's funny that he's playing a clip of this, but let's go ahead.
Robert, again. My dude, that's it! Breath. I remember when I sat down to write my first play. I asked Jesus, will you co-write with me? And he said yes. And I told Jesus, I want to write plays for women. What do women want to see? And Jesus said, sexy men. Since that day, I've searched the world for the sexiest black men alive. And I found them, my shirtless men. And Jesus was pleased. I didn't know religion worked like that. Then I asked Jesus, how can I further spread your message on earth? And he said, cross-dressing. And so I put on a dress and a wig, and Jesus was pleased. With that dress, that wig, and these beautiful muscular gifts from God, I have built an empire, and soon I will crush Ice Cube, and my supremacy of Black Hollywood will be complete. Ice Cube? We don't allow just anyone on this journey. Have you accepted Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, Robert? Yeah, I guess. Get on your knees, Robert.
yeah, I guess. I love the Boondocks, but let's continue.
Ow! On your knees, Robert. Okay, damn, you got the hand. Do you accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, Robert? Yes. Do you accept me, Winston Jerome, as the representative of Jesus Christ in the TV and movie business? Sure, I guess. Do you renounce Ice Cube and all his works? Well, I kind of like Friday. Do you renounce Ice Cube and all his works? I renounce Ice Cube. Louder! I renounce Ice Cube. And all his works. And all his work, including Friday. Yes, including Friday. Yes! Rise! Rise! My new leading man! We're having a fun shindig at the compound, man. You should come.
You had never seen that?
No!
Yeah, it was very.
It was a lawsuit then. Oh, shit.
Yeah, it was 2010 actually. It was 2010, and so apparently that they're saying that was about Tyler Perry. Cultural reference. The character Winston Jerome is a parody of playwright and filmmaker Tyler Perry. Jerome's character, Maud Dukes, whom he portrays by cross-dressing, corresponds with Tyler Perry's character Medea. Winston introduces himself to Robert as Maud Dukes in a dance sequence similar to that of the Time Warp and Rocky Horror Picture Show, whatever. Yes, but it was very controversial at the time. I believe, if I am not mistaken, that Adult Swim, which was Turner or TNT at the time, or whatever it was, they pulled it because Tyler Perry was not happy.
And that is true. Although he denied it, but it's true.
With it, and then the writer and producer, whatever, was Aaron Magruder on that. Okay, and there's also, there are some other scenes in there that are even more subversive than that. So I say that to say this is something that has been brewing for quite some time, and Tyler has spoken out about that. He is denied. I don't know, what Tyler is. Not my business. He has denied, being gay. Okay, but he has spoken out about abuse. People Magazine. Perry reveals he was molested as a child. Okay, that's from People Magazine, and this was around I think 2012 or 2011. Now I remember this because it was around. This was this is published in October of 2019, but that was before the 2011 and 2012. Oprah did an episode on abuse for men, and they contacted me. They ended up not, and they did pre-interviews, whatever. Ended up not using. I spoke to Tyler a little bit about it, and because we were both talking about being survivors at the same time. Okay, so Tyler ended up being on the show. I did not go on the show then, and this was part of the reveal on the Oprah show. Watch.
You also have talked about actual hookup and your first sexual experiences were abusive.
Rape. Yeah.
As a little boy who was molested by 3 different men and a woman before you were 10 years old and didn't even know what sex was, did it leave you confused?
I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know what was going on or the far-reaching effects of it. But the way I was growing up, you just move through it. Go on to the next thing. You're okay. Boys don't cry. Shut up. Move on. And unfortunately, what happens with men, in my case, holding on to all of that, not knowing what to do with it. I didn't realize it at the time, but that's where my gift to write came from. It was in the heartache, in the hell, in the pain, in my mind, no matter what was happening to me, be it sexually, whatever was happening at the time, in my mind, I could go and be somewhere else. Now, looking at where I am now, that's where I go to write. People, Oprah calls me a savant, affectionately, because I'll sit and I'll write the 25 episodes of the shows in 2 weeks. She's like, how do you do that? How do you sit and do that? And it's because of that happening to me as a child. Using my imagination, I could create these worlds and stay there for hours. It's like I'm a spectator in these beautiful, amazing worlds. So that's why I'm able to write so quickly. That's why I'm able to do things so quickly. It's going back to the trauma, using the trauma of that, and now it's become a gift, if that makes sense.
It makes 100% sense. I can relate to that. So, no one has ever called me a savant, but people are surprised about how I can write, the creative, mind that I have. And a lot of that comes from the same experiences that Tyler had. And the self-isolation and creating your own world. And so that's why I can recognize the Arrested development. I can recognize all the things that are mentioned in that Hollywood Reporter story. Now, as far as how far it went, but I am very familiar with the behavior and very familiar with the talent and with being able to do things where people go, wow, how the fuck did you think of that? Or being able to write a story in 30 seconds that everybody's amazed about, because, you have to do that. I find a lot of men, gay men because it's not necessarily the same thing, men or people who have been survivors, I find that they are overachievers. They go places in their minds and in their worlds that other people don't have to go, because they don't have to. Their childhood is not interrupted early, right, to become an adult through having these experiences. I don't know.
And I believe he's trying to be careful about, I'm not saying he is, but I can relate. I was violated as a child as well, but I'm an out of the closet, happy to be gay man. And I recognize a lot of the things that he talks about. I relate to them, but he's trying to be careful and toeing that line, because he ain't trying to be on the hook for defamation or, whatever, or anything with regards to Tyler Perry and pissing him off, even because he likes him.
I don't know if that makes sense to you, Simone.
Absolutely, yeah. And as well, how you were talking about the Arrested development, studies have shown that at that moment, whatever age you are when you were first abused, that there's a piece of you that your development emotionally and it can be socially does become arrested at that time, that there are many people who have this level of immaturity that's kind of frozen at that point when they were first victimized. So all of that you're talking about is very consistent.
Yeah. Well, and also because you are, as I said, you keep your world so small and you isolate. When you finally meet someone that you like, you pour everything into it. It's like a rush. Like, oh my God, I like this person, whatever. And then sometimes people get confused about what is romantic, what is friendship, what is all those things. Again, does not excuse any sort of abusive behavior. I'm just saying, when I read that, I was like, oh yeah. So legally, having read this, is it going to be, because you knew what was going to happen in the video. I think you predicted exactly this.
Yeah, we even had the timeline for
how is this going.
Verdict.
And by the way, I have to say, I hate to see this happening to Tyler. I love Tyler. Let me just say that. I hate to see it. This is my job. I have to report on this because, this is what I do. I hate to see, especially a black man. You know what I mean? Ramon, are you there?
Absolutely. I'm here. Yeah.
So now what? Is this going to be hard to defend considering what you read?
So there's 2 major different issues. Legally, it is not unlawful to have a relationship with your boss. The issue becomes, did your boss then did it become quid pro quo, where you had to do certain things to keep your job, or if your progression was suppressed if you didn't, continue the relationship. Here, one of the factual areas that I can see Tyler's team is going to fight about is that it appears that throughout the years of this relationship, he continued to excel. And I can see that factually they can even argue that he was treated better than other cast members on the cast. He got a raise when others did not receive a raise. Tyler then purchased the right to produce one of his, like a concept for a show. Tyler purchased that, and then part of the argument was that he purchased it, but that he didn't do anything with it. Well, if no one else was out there trying to purchase it, that doesn't necessarily mean that he's trying to suppress you. So there's some facts in there that don't necessarily show, and it can go either way right now with what we know. But the second really major issue that Mr. Dixon has is the statute of limitations is passed for the major things for what he's complaining about. Oh yeah, but here's the tea. As I'm reading this, I see that it's filed in California. But everything that's occurred in Georgia. And Tyler Perry's studios, the production, all of that was in Georgia. I looked it
He's a
up.
resident of California. Well, in Georgia, probably, yeah.
Yeah. But, well, Tyler Perry's a resident of Georgia. The actual, like the alleged assaults all happened in Georgia. And that statute of limitations is 2 years. The last physical issue that occurred happened in 2021. We're long past that statute. However, in California, the statute is still valid. So it's looking like, and what I can see is that Tyler Perry's team is going to argue, hey, Your Honor, first of all, we have no business fighting this in California. This needs to be transferred to Georgia. And then in Georgia, you got the statute of limitations that's already passed.
Even
and the what's that?
Even for civil?
Even for civil, it's 2 years for these types of issues. But in California, it's still valid. California is much longer. I believe it's 6 years, or it's a lot longer because they got some special laws there. Also, in California, for sexual harassment and the things that he's alleging here, only 9 of the 12 jurors have to agree for Mr. Dixon to get his $260 million.
So look, I mean, I don't know if it's going to be able to proceed. We shall see. But Don Lemon, being an out of the closet, happy to be gay man who is in the world of media and, let's face it, celebrity, he's picked up on things, and a lot of people have picked up on things. I mean, we already talked about the fact that Tyler Perry, most people believe he is gay. He just has never admitted it. But in light of the situation, I found it very interesting that Don Lemon was speaking to his arrested development, if you will, and to what he believes is one of his major issues that may have gotten him in this place that he is right now with these accusations and possible things that actually did happen. And I want to play, a little bit of that.
Maybe a one-off, maybe the only one alleging this, but I have to imagine making the statement that he did in the beginning of his complaint, talking about other people who were going through this and doing an interview with the Hollywood Reporter, he may be trying to see if other people will come forward right now to corroborate his claim.
What was the term that you used for that? This is a what?
What did I say? A siren
Did you say a
call?
whistle?
A siren call. I made it up. That kind of, I think that's a fair siren call. I was thinking that's what I was going, a siren call.
All right. Thank you, Jesse Weber of the Law and Crime and also at News Nation. We'll be watching. Okay, we appreciate you coming on. Come back.
Thanks so much for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Simone Redwine is attorney. Simone, you've been dying to get in, but as we always want to honor our guests' wishes when they have a time crunch or whatever, we do the same with you. So thank you for joining us this morning. What you wanted to jump in there? What did you want to say?
I just wanted to add to what he was saying as far as the context. What's interesting here is that the two, Tyler Perry and Mr. Dixon, they actually did not start off as coworkers, as boss and employee. They met at a social event. And at that social event, Tyler said, you should get into acting. And then Tyler cast him in a very minor role the following month. And then it was subsequent to that he was cast in The Oval and was cast for 6 seasons. Now, the other part of that context that I thought was weird is about 2 months into the friendship, Tyler Perry bought him a car. That was before he had to roll in The Oval or any of that. And I'm thinking to myself, what type of relationship do you have where I can't think of any relationship I have where one of my homegirls would buy me a car just out of the blue. So I think it did signal that there likely was some type of romantic relationship there, at least initially. At least, come on. If you buy somebody a car, John, he's just your bestie. Just because they're your bestie, you just don't buy him a car.
All right, look.
In 2 months' time, someone that you just met at a random event, and then in a couple of months you bought the person a car. Now, listen, I'm not saying that Derek Dixon was all right or okay to accept it, but we already know. Listen, the majority of the world, if you just want to boil it down to the United States, the majority of the nation, if someone bought you a car and they said this is yours to have, I'm not saying it's okay, but a whole lot more people actually would accept it. Let's just be clear. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm just saying.
I'm not making excuses, but I think Tyler buys lots of people cars. Okay, yes, I know about that, but just random people that you know. But look, as I will share this. When I was on CNN, I would do stories about people who were in need and they needed things. Tyler would call me or text me and say, give me their information. He'd buy him a car. He'd buy him a bus so they could get to church. He'd buy it so they could get to work. He did do stuff like that. Now, this is a different situation. I'm just saying what I know. Now, am I going to buy someone I work with a car unless they're in desperate need and can't get to work? If I had those type of resources, maybe, but it doesn't help Tyler's case.
Gotcha. I understand.
That's what I'm saying to you. I'm just trying to figure this. I'm just, trying to give you some.
It's odd.
Yeah, I'm not going to buy my homeboy a car, but I don't have the resources to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Fair enough.
Yeah. What do you think of this complaint when you read it? Excuse me, not the complaint. We talked about that. What do you think of the Hollywood Reporter story, when you read it?
So I noticed that with the story, I agree with Jesse that it was verbatim. It was almost verbatim consistent with the complaint. And when I read further, they stated that this was an email interview. So they merely emailed him the questions, and I'm pretty sure his lawyer drafted the written responses. So it seemed very mechanical, but it also seemed like absolutely he wants to use this speaking out as an opportunity to see, hey, are there any other victims that maybe want to join my lawsuit or also want to make claims? Because if we all come out together, perhaps I have a larger likelihood that people will believe me. That was exactly kind of the sentiment that I received. And consistent with it, he also referenced in the petition that there was another actor that had previously had a secret settlement with Tyler Perry. And then there was the third gentleman, Braxton Wells, who was also an actor on The Oval. And Braxton Wells recently came out and stated that it was an executive of Tyler Perry's, and had a settlement with him. Braxton Wells actually showed that there was an NDA and that he was paid, I believe it was $500,000 to settle that one. So what it is sounding like with these two different alleged victims is that with Mr. Wells, the second alleged victim, when he heard how much money that Mr. Dixon is going for, the $260 million, he literally wanted to hire the same attorney to see if he could get his settlement agreement that was only $500,000 set aside.
And unfortunately, I don't think he's going to be able to, but the fact that he's putting it out there that it happened, more power to him.
Oh boy.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see that?
More.
Did you see that? Someone said there. What did they say? I think Tyler had a crush on him, and that's what it reads like. Now I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know in all of these things, and you don't know what you're reading because people do make up things. And again, I'm not making excuses for Tyler Perry, but just there's so many things that come into play here. Outing someone. What's the motive of the accuser? When I read this, here's my honest opinion. Okay, everybody, here's my honest opinion. All right.
Okay.
When I read this, because I'm so familiar with this situation, with people who are in these kinds of situations, and people who are usually people who are of Tyler's age, a little bit older than Tyler Perry. You can't come out, right? You didn't come out. You didn't think that you would come out. And with that, having had so much therapy, is arrested development. And so there are things that you hold in and that you don't talk about for so long that it arrests your development. And so that you isolate yourself. Your circle becomes smaller. There's secrecy around it. And so when you meet someone you may like or a friend, you kind of overdo it. And it's almost like a childhood, like you're having a friendship with a child. And so you want to give everything to them. And so I'm not denying that he may not have had a crush on this guy or the other things, but as I'm reading this, it sounds like arrested development to me. It sounds very kind of childish. Like a bromance, but a bromance from junior high school. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I absolutely see that. Yeah. Like with the comments like, oh, how do I look? And he's like, oh, you didn't say I was super handsome, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Because if it was two men who were on the same page, who could be out, and whether they were straight or whatever, if they were, let's just say they were gay, you would say, hey, look, would you like to have dinner on Friday night? And they would say, I'm not interested, I'm not gay. It's like, okay, cool, sorry, I'm wrong. And then boom, it's over. And then it's like, would you like to have dinner on Friday night? And you're both in the same place. It's like, sure, I'd love to have dinner with you. And then it goes on just like a regular relationship, heterosexual, whatever, but it's two people who are meeting each other in the same place rather than their secrecy. I don't know, I have a crush, they're really cute. I don't know if they're gay, maybe they are. I really like them. And also, I will tell you, if you have been abused, if you are a survivor, it really fucks with you, right? And you perhaps have behavior that, unless you're aware of, that you are, and sometimes you are exhibiting some of the behavior that your abuser has done to you.
And I exactly hear what he is saying. And the thing about it is, guys, we don't know what Tyler Perry does in his personal time when it comes to getting therapy and, working out his childhood trauma and even adulthood trauma, for that matter, and things that he has, experienced or went through, or maybe even put other people through. But I'm going to have to say, and even in therapy, you have to do the work. It's not like you're going in so that they could do work on you. You're going in to learn tools that you need to, have operating in your life to get through the days, the weeks, the months, and the years. And so I just personally feel, because I don't believe Derek Dixon is lying about the things that have happened. I don't think most people believe he's lying. But some people don't feel like he's a victim because they feel like, oh, well, you kept showing up and it was all good until, the money stopped and now you just want to beg. People have to understand there are two forms of justice in this nation. There's civil justice and there's criminal justice. Civil justice, the justice is money. That's the really only way you get justice in the civil justice system is in a monetary form. You can't sue someone in civil court and then get them locked up in jail. It just doesn't work that way. And unfortunately, with the criminal justice system, like we had listened to some, things before with so many different cases, not just this one. Even in the civil justice system, there are statutes of limitations. But unfortunately, in the criminal justice system, there are statutes of limitations as well. Now, there are a few things that there is no statutes on, like MURDER. But there are some others where there should not be statutes, like sexual assault. That is a crime, but unfortunately, it is a crime that has a statute of limitation on it. And I believe that it shouldn't. And I believe one of the main reasons why is because most of the time those are committed by men. And this justice system in this nation, it's crooked, it's corrupt, it's not fair. So it's rare that hardly anyone really does get justice when they are wronged. It's crazy. But I wanted to say all of that to say that Tyler, I don't believe with him being a billionaire and also all of the work that he's doing, that he is doing the work on himself. I don't believe that he's really been getting that. And unfortunately, I believe that a lot of people like him, when they start getting to the status where they're really, really getting the bag, they use that money as a painkiller, and sometimes they inflict pain on other people, but they're not going through the therapy to really do the work on themselves to be a better person. That's why people like R. Kelly are in prison right now. I don't want to hear the excuses about what happened to him when he was a child, because once you get to a point that you are getting money, you don't even have to be a freaking millionaire, but you're just actually getting a consistent income. Why aren't you consistently getting therapy? No, you're doing devious, dirty things to other human beings, and then people want to blame the victims because it's like, oh, you just wanted money. Stop doing that. But it's not going to happen. I'm just saying. So Tyler Perry, I don't believe that he has been getting the help and therapy and doing the work on himself to not get in a place where he is doing things like this to other people, or just being a freaking closeted gay man because you're afraid to come out because you don't want to piss off the majority of your supporters. Because in that church world, which a lot of the people that support him are Black women who are so-called Christians, most of the time they'll know people are gay, but as long as that person just does not admit that they're gay, they're okay with it. If you're gay, it's okay as long as you don't say. It's true. So Tyler Perry, I believe, like Don Lemon, he's onto something. He does have Arrested Development, and I really don't believe, even with him being a billionaire, has been doing the work on himself to not be in a place where he feels like he has to be in the closet and he's trying to prove stuff to other people, playing the role of a heterosexual man. And why did I get married? And why did I get married to? Having a child with a woman, no one's ever seen him being romantic with that woman. And a lot of people feel like the child that he had, he didn't even conceive it the old-fashioned way. And then, just not admitting that he is a gay man. It's like you're still trying to prove something to people when you are fighting something within yourself. And that's not the viewing public's problem. And also, like some people say, it's none of our business, and that is true. But when stories like this hit the news, then people are going to discuss it.
Okay, so we'll talk about it. You have heard. Okay, so that's
absolutely.
We're going to be real on this, Simone. We're going to be real on this.
Yeah.
So, is Tyler Perry gay? That's what everyone is asking. Is he gay? I don't want to out him, but I will tell you that he has talked about that, and he has talked about abuse before very openly. So I feel that I could share that. Let me get this ad break in, and then Simone, we'll talk on the other side. I'm going to show you some other things, you and the audience, some other things, and we're going to get real candid.
So I'm going to pause it right there and skip over that. And I'm actually going to end it right there, because where they're going to pick up is actually where I began with this video. But to hear Don Lemon, who is an out gay man, and he's not saying Tyler Perry is gay, but he's saying, listen, there's some things that I see here, and it's just like some of the stuff possibly could have been avoided. Not saying that he would never experience any type of accusations or lawsuits or whatever, because unfortunately, it's kind of par for the course when you have reached a level of monetary success and all of the things that people are going to accuse you of doing things. Unfortunately, sometimes it is lies. I don't believe these situations are lies, but I'm just saying some of the things with regards to the shock and the awe and the exposure, or even also just doing some of the things that he has been alleged to have done, it wouldn't have happened if he was just real with himself, getting the help that he needs, doing the work on himself, so that you could actually be in a happy, healthy relationship like RuPaul. I mean, have you ever heard about RuPaul doing anything to anyone, and RuPaul's in his 60s. All right. RuPaul's a drag queen, but he says all the time, this is what I do for a living, but I am happy to be a man. And he actually is in a relationship with another man. He might be married. I don't know. But I'm just saying, you ain't never heard nobody come out and accuse RuPaul of sexually harassing anybody. All right. Or doing anything to anyone against their will, because he's out. And so I just believe that's one of the reasons why I do believe the victims that have come out to let people know what actually happened, either with Tyler Perry or at Tyler Perry Studios, or by someone who is a part of the Tyler Perry Studios business conglomerate, because of the Arrested Development, because of the, you know what I mean? Because of the, I don't know. It's deep, but I actually, when I was listening to this, I was like, whoa, this is a discussion that needs to be had. Tyler Perry may not be happy about it, and I do believe Don Lemon was trying to be careful with his words and some of the things that he was implying or saying, because he didn't want to piss Tyler Perry off. But I also respect him for, even talking about it, because he could have said, look, I'm not even going to touch this with a 10-foot pole because I don't want to piss Tyler Perry off. And someone being in media, I respect them for talking about it. And also, I believe trying his best to be, not biased in the situation, but also not accusatory either. So I really would love to know what
It's like walking in the room and hitting.
So let me know your thoughts in the comments, and let's just go ahead and get into this, because it's a discussion that really needs to be had.
Thanks for being here, liking and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.